The education landscape is constantly evolving. Staying ahead of the trends is essential. Welcome to LA County EdBuzz, the show that explores the groundbreaking initiatives, inspiring stories, and innovative practices that are shaping the future of learning right here in Southern California. From cutting-edge classroom techniques to game-changing educational policies, we'll bring you insights from educators, experts, and students to showcase the transformative power of education. I'm Elizabeth Graswich, Executive Director of Public Affairs and Communications at the Los Angeles County Office of Education. Welcome to the first LA County EdBuzz episode. I'm here today with Jose Gonzalez, LACOE's Chief Technology Officer, to talk about the rapid advances in artificial intelligence software like ChatGPT and how they're being used in the education community. Jose, can you explain briefly what ChatGPT is and how it's being used in our schools across LA County?
Absolutely. Thanks, Liz. Well, ChatGPT is a AI technology, artificial intelligence, that basically scours various files and records and works on identifying questions. So unlike Google, where you would Google a term or a phrase, you would get multiple thousands of articles and you'd have to figure out your own research and figure out what to do with it, how it all ties together. On ChatGPT, you can ask a question and actually ChatGPT will do all of that for you. From asking a question like, how can I reboot my computer, to can you write me a brief essay on the Civil War? And really, it will put it all together for you and type it real time right in front of you within a matter of seconds, if not minutes.
And how are you seeing it being used right now in the classroom across LA County?
I think there's a lot of concerns about it being used to write essays and things like that. But what we are also seeing is situations where students are using it as a brainstorming technique, basically. So in essence, they're able to ask questions, they're able to create outlines, they're able to extract research that might have taken hours in the past, and they're able to do it fairly quickly. A big part of that is that some districts that we're seeing across the country, actually, that I've connected with, are trying to block it. And so in that situation, it does create an equity issue. So I think we need to really educate our students and families and educators and our school district staff on how they can use it responsibly. I mean, at the end of the day, we want them to be digital citizens and that understand how to leverage this technology to its fullest potential. I guess the best way to put it is, when the calculator came out, many folks thought that that might be a form of cheating possibly, but in essence, it's a tool, right? And how we use that tool to empower our students will really shape kind of the future of the workforce as well, right? So if we don't start working and training them now on how to use that technology, when we get to, when they become 18 and they start getting into jobs, there's other folks around that are going to be using that technology. So how do we make sure that we're training everybody so that we're all on the same playing field?
Yeah, it's interesting because, it came out and you started to hear about it like one day, and then, a few days later there was something else. And now it feels like AI and ChatGPT is everywhere. It's in the news constantly. So there is a lot of conversation in the education community about it. But we also see there's some positive applications to it, right? That we can maybe use it to affect children's outcomes.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, if you are a teacher or educator and you have not used ChatGPT, try asking it to write a 9th grade history curriculum for you. And it will come up with some pretty strong, great, ideas. Maybe you won't fully use everything in there, but it definitely helps you brainstorm, and it looks at multiple articles for you and kind of puts it all in front of you so that you can really make a more informed decision. So as a teacher, I know many teacher friends that spend hours and hours and hours building this curriculum every year. And so this can really help you brainstorm and get some of the best, research all concisely put into one location so that you can build off of that. And I think that's my point. We want to use it as a tool that helps you heighten the level of how you're thinking about education, but also for a student, heighten the level of how you're looking at writing your paper, right? Have it, ask it questions. It really is a very powerful interaction. And thinking that it's scouring the internet in a matter of seconds for you, the data that it's giving you back is pretty concise. And I would always recommend checking it and making sure it's accurate. But it's very powerful tool. I think equivalent to the calculator, but for just overall research and writing papers and overall case studies, I think it really takes our students' ability to learn to the next level, right? You can now go into the system. You could actually ask questions. You don't have to wait. If it's 8 p.m., you don't have to wait for your teacher, the next day to ask a question. You can go on ChatGPT and look up, whatever that question is, that's that burning question that's maybe preventing you from finishing your homework.
What would you tell a teacher who is maybe fearful that their student is using it to write an essay and in their mind, perhaps, kind of cheating the system a little?
Right. I would say that the bottom line is everybody's going to have access to it. So how do we educate our students to be responsible? It's the same concept of us educating them, not to be on Facebook in the middle of class, right? There's different things that students have access to that, we just need to show them, hey, there's a digital citizenship component. And when you're online, you don't want to bully other students, right? You the same way that you're responsible outside of the virtual environment, how are you responsible now in the digital world with these new tools and how to use it responsibly? And at the end of the day, there's other ways to ensure that the students understanding and comprehending the curriculum. I personally think it's a little rough, but hey, have them write an essay in the middle of class in person, right? Have them write their workout, draft their workout in person so they're actually working through the actual challenge and the actual homework assignment, but also knowing that, hey, you can also use this as research, right? We in many cases, this really takes research to the next level, right? If you ask ChatGPT a question, you can actually follow up a question and say, show me your resources, show me the articles where this came from. And now the student can go in and dive into this research directly if that's one of the techniques that the student wants to approach. And those are the ways that I think we show our kids and our students how to leverage this technology responsibly is don't just trust what's there and actually go into the information, read it yourself and understand it well enough to explain it, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of fear out there right now with AI, ChatGPT, and the impact it may have on jobs. Can you speak a little bit to that fear and that this really isn't a new technology?
Right. Yeah, I think the technology's been around for a while. I don't think it's been as good as it is now. I don't think it's been as concise where it could really research so quickly. But a lot of this comes down to the concept we talked about a little bit earlier, that we need to start training our kids for those future jobs that will come out of it. For current jobs, there's certain jobs like teachers, our principals, educators, those jobs will be enhanced by ChatGPT in that now they have this support structure to help them maybe, like I said earlier, save time on curriculum or setting up lesson plans or things like that. But at the end of the day, we need our teachers in front of that classroom teaching our kids and ensuring that there's that human touch. And I think part of that is figuring out which jobs we need to start retraining programs. And I think the government does need to step in outside of just our education sector is, hey, if there's jobs that are impacted by AI or robotics, how do we train those folks to maybe now be engineers? And not only will that help streamline and make things more efficient, but maybe that worker will now have a higher salary as a programmer or an engineer or a robotics mechanic. So I think part of that is really thinking through it. And even I would say that the companies and corporations themselves should also be invested in this, right? Because there's nothing more important than people power. And smart technologies, robotics, and AI are here to support us, right? And our vision for how we make the world a better place.
Well, and just because it can generate information, it doesn't mean that information is perfect, right? You still need to look at it. Someone needs to edit it, to curate it, to make sure it's accurate and that it has the voice and fits the situation. And that's still really going to take humans. Absolutely.
And there is a way that AI and ChatGPT writes where you could tell it's not human. So there's actually analytics out there that shows that it doesn't have that human connection. And it really goes back to what we talked about earlier. It's a tool to be used to, help us be more effective, more efficient, maybe save time, but we still have to be the ones that review it and make sure that it makes sense and make sure that it has that voice, that human voice behind it, and the compassionate portion that, only humans could really consider and think through.
Excellent point. In terms of helping districts, because that's a lot, right? I mean, this is evolving very, very quickly. They have a lot on their plates, but LACOE's right here trying to help them. So can you share a little bit about what LACOE's doing to support our districts?
Absolutely. As soon as we heard about it, our team's been super excited about it and very involved at the national level, actually. And we're working with ISTE on their AI subcommittee. And we've been working with many of the experts that have that background in AI before it went viral, if you will. And we're actually having an AI symposium August 4th. And we're inviting all of our 80 districts and any surrounding districts that would like to attend to be a part of that conversation. Because it's not about just LACOE. It's about all of the surrounding experts. I always say the knowledge is in the county. And we're the largest regional education agency in the country. And I really feel that all the experts, all of our technology leads at K-12, K through 14, including our community colleges, universities as well, if we can all come together, we can really help lead the nation on how this impacts our students and how this impacts the future of work as well. I mean, a lot of this has to do with how do we make sure the kids are using this properly when they get into the workforce, when they graduate from high school, or when they go to college, because we don't want them to have never seen this before and then jump in and they're kind of at a disadvantage, right? So leveraging this at school will ensure that the students can leverage this in the future of work, in their future jobs or overall roles.
And what advice would you give to people who are interested in it, don't really know where to start to get involved and learn about it? What would you tell them?
I would just say jump in. ChatGPT has free accounts and you could just start asking questions. I would challenge them to ask something really complicated that they don't think will actually get a good answer. And I can almost guarantee that they'll be very pleasantly surprised with how good and articulate the system is and the great response that they'll get.
What's your prediction on how AI tools will evolve and how they'll be used in the classroom in the future?
I think before that, I want to talk about something called STERA technologies. So it's smart technologies, AI, and then robotics and algorithms. And there was a paper written in 2016, well before COVID, and we know COVID accelerated all of that. But in essence, it says that in 50 years, open heart surgery will be done more effectively by a robot and smart technologies behind it. And so as we consider that concept, how do we prepare our students for this future, right? We've already got a McDonald's in the Midwest that is fully automated. Obviously, we need folks to keep those robotics going. We need folks that understand the algorithms, the smart technology, the programming behind that, right? And so as we think about these different technologies and the advancement of ChatGPT, for example, now handling things like help desk chat requests, how do we prepare our students to help support those technologies and make them more effective and more successful? And so how do they leverage those technologies to be able to do kind of more of the engineering work, right? More of the configuration work and the programming and the back end. And so I think that's how we have to think about it, because I think that's what education really is, right? We're preparing our kids for adulthood and for some career of the future. And that's so hard to predict. And so what I would say is, considering this research around STERA, how do we prepare our kids for that future that's impending?
It's exciting, but it's also changing so rapidly. So how are we going to help our education community adapt quickly and quickly enough for those changes?
As I mentioned earlier, it takes a village to really figure this out. And because it's moving so fast, we need to meet frequently and we need to have all the experts in the room, and we all need to have that conversation and that dialogue to really come up with that strategy and that plan together.
So glad that LACOE is a part of this. I want to thank Jose Gonzalez for joining us today on LA County EdBuzz for this exciting conversation on AI and ChatGPT. For more details on our AI symposium, visit our website at lacoe.edu. Thanks so much, Jose.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Liz.